his experience. He's so smart. He have everything in a fighter, a complete fighter. He don't have power in the punches, but sometimes you don't need it. You know, when you that kind of fighter, you don't need it.
How you beat Teofimo Lopez? Because there's a blueprint out to beat Teofimo Lopez. Ain't no blueprint out to beat no damn Shakur Stevenson. Lopez don't know how to beat Shakur Stevenson. Ain't no damn blueprint. But I tell you who got a blueprint on how to beat Lopez. That's Shakur Stevenson. He know how to beat Lopez. Yeah, Lopez don't know how to beat him. Hell no.
He knows his distance well, and I don't think the other guys can like reach him or capitalize off of it.
Now, everybody's saying decision. Could a stoppage be on the table? Because you said like frustrate him.
Yeah, for sure. A stoppage is always in the works. These guys fighting with ounces on no headgear. Anything can happen in boxing. Just be himself. Be him. Don't listen to the crowd. Don't listen to these fans. Don't listen to these haters, naysayers and doubters. Just be him. Do what he do best. And that's one.
Anticipation keeps building as Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez draw closer to fight night, with the boxing world split on what happens when they collide. Some analysts believe Lopez's sharp instincts, fast feet, and aggressive mentality could put Stevenson under intense pressure. They see his ability to push the pace and make fights chaotic as a potential way to disrupt Shakur's technical rhythm and defensive control, turning the bout into the kind of battle where Lopez thrives.
But Teo's, he's a very special athlete. And as a competitor, he is one of those guys who saves his A game for a fellow elite opponent. That's when he really rises his game and shows us the Teofimo Lopez that everybody thought he was when he was a prospect. People used to look at him and say, oh, this guy is going to be the star in boxing. It didn't really play out that way, but every now and then he reminds us how special he is.
Teofimo is a two-division Ring Magazine champion. In both fights where he won the Ring Magazine championship, he was the underdog. 4-1 underdog against Lomachenko. People forget, Lomachenko was taking elite fighters in the lower divisions and they were quitting.
Yes.
He was beating them into something. They were like, I can't do this, right? And Teofimo beat him. Right, he outboxed him.
Yeah, he didn't do it by physically imposing himself on him.
He outboxed him, he outfought him, he had speed, power, and then again against Josh Taylor at junior welterweight, he was the underdog, so he saves his best for his biggest moments.
Meanwhile, Teofimo Lopez thinks he isn't just fighting for a belt, he's defending everything he's built to earn it. Every title, every victory represents years of sacrifice, pain, and relentless work. For Lopez, this fight is personal. He's determined to protect what he's earned, confident in his skills, and ready to prove that no one can take away what he's achieved through blood, discipline, and sheer determination.
And talking of being in the ring, Shakur Stevenson, obviously you guys are both in Las Vegas. I'm hearing that you did link up today. A face-off happened between the two of you?
Face-off happened, things of that nature, just to create the things that are in motion already. So we're really adamant about fighting each other next, and I can't wait for us to really lace it up. And I see him across the ring, and really when that bell rings, lights out for him.
What's it like seeing him now kind of face to face? When you look at him, what do you see? Because obviously you're not locked in just yet, and the closer it gets to a fight, obviously things turn a little bit. But when you do look at Shakur, what do you think of him?
I think I don't think too much of it. I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it. I've bled for this, and I'm not taking nothing from him, but I just believe that what's gonna happen next is for destiny in the boxing ring to decide.
Many fighters and analysts also highlight Teofimo Lopez's natural size and physical strength as key factors in the matchup. Against a slick, skill-driven boxer like Shakur Stevenson, they believe that physicality could play a major role, especially if Lopez uses his strength to impose himself and make the fight more demanding at close range.
Teofimo showed you that he can fight inside, he can fight outside. He would have the advantage of power in this fight. One thing that I love about this fight, Bud? Shakur's very athletic, very talented. So is Teofimo. He's more explosive with power, but Teofimo is very athletic. He is very talented. You got two athletic guys, two talented guys. Again, Teofimo I would favor with the power. This is going to be interesting.
Teofimo Lopez signals that he has no interest in a clean tactical chess match. The plan is to rough the fight up, force exchanges, and use his size and strength at 140 to throw Stevenson off rhythm. By turning it into a physical, high-impact battle, Lopez aims to create openings for heavy shots and push the contest toward a decisive finish rather than letting it drift to the scorecards.
You know, Shakur is a very talented, skillful, technique fighter.
Yeah.
You know, can't take anything away from it. However, scared to get hit. Scared to get knocked out in front of the world. Scared to get touched up in front of the world.
Are you saying that off of the last fight or just
in general?
In general.
In general.
Yeah.
In general. Me and Shakur sparred before. We did 3 rounds, and it was just light work. And me trying to figure out his jab. Does he have a good jab? Yeah, he does. But once you pass his jab, it's game.
Yeah.
It's food. It's lunch food.
On the other hand, Shane Mosley raises a red flag about Shakur Stevenson taking on such an explosive opponent at 140 pounds. The issue, in his view, isn't skill. It's how Stevenson's body adapts to the added weight. Mosley questions whether moving up could affect Shakur's sharpness and overall performance against a naturally powerful fighter at that division.
Because I don't think that, well, maybe, I mean, Shakur might show some different, if he has to go after Teofimo, he might show some different type of heart that we haven't seen or different type of fighting we haven't seen, and vice versa, you know, whereas Teofimo's hitting him with different shots off the angle that is kind of giving, you know, Shakur Stevenson trouble. We'll see about that. So we just don't know.
Yeah, the thing is I think people overlook of Teofimo is he can box when he wants to. Like, he's shown he has a slick style too when he wants to do that.
When he wants to do that. So if you have a slick style and you got power and you got speed too, and you're fighting at 140. So let's see. I don't know if Shakur Stevenson is going to get slower moving up in weight or not, where Teofimo can hit him. Maybe he was really fast at 130, 26-30, maybe 35, but 40, you put on a little bit more weight. I think that he holds the weight probably really, really good, but you just don't know.
Some fighters who've gone through similar weight jumps caution that moving to 140 could dull the very traits that make Shakur Stevenson special. They warn he might not look as quick on his feet or as sharp in his reactions, which are core to his style. Meanwhile, Teofimo Lopez operates comfortably at that weight, combining speed, power, and physical strength in a way that could become a serious factor if Stevenson isn't at his usual level.
Yeah, then, okay, let me put this scenario. What if it's the Teofimo that beat Lomachenko? What if that Teofimo shows up?
Like I said, and Lomachenko is a not easy fight. Teofimo was able to be in the ring with different type of fighters and figure it out. The fighters that Shakur Stevenson was in with, they couldn't figure it out or get close to figuring it out. Whereas Teofimo had to figure out that type of style, and Lomachenko is a hard fight to fight. So that's why this fight is so interesting. And for Shakur Stevenson to move to 140 to fight him is definitely a hats off to him.
Do you have a favorite on paper in that fight at all, Shane?
I believe it's 50-50. It's a fight that I just have to sit down and watch and just want to see, like I said, who imposed their will on the other.
Max Kellerman frames the stakes as uneven heading into this fight. Shakur Stevenson carries the burden of expectation, with his technical reputation and unbeaten image putting him in a position where a slip could cost him more. Teofimo Lopez, meanwhile, steps in with less pressure and more to gain, making him a dangerous variable, a fighter free to take risks in a matchup that already feels unpredictable.
Is there an advantage there where Shakur is fighting to protect that perfect record, to protect that kind of sense that he's the next guy? On the other hand, Teo is like he can fight with more abandon against Shakur because there's so much for him to gain. And if he loses, he's lost before. He's lost to Kambosos.
Paulie Malignaggi views Shakur Stevenson as a rare defensive talent, the kind of fighter who's extremely difficult to solve in the ring. At the same time, he leaves the door open for Teofimo Lopez, saying that if Lopez delivers a peak performance and puts everything together on the night, he has the tools to pull off the upset.
Teofimo is at his most dangerous when he's counted out. And this is going to be one of those fights where he's going to be counted out. Because Shakur is looked at by and large as the guy who can dominate boxing in this generation, right? It's just a matter of him getting the opportunity. I myself have felt that he's the guy who could and should be dominating boxing if he gets the right matchups. But bro, this is one of the rare matchups, if not maybe the only matchup, where I feel like is a big threat here to Shakur. And then it would all come undone only because of this reason. Teofimo Lopez, we've seen him at his best, but he typically brings out his best characteristics when he's back into the wall and he's counted out. And he's going to be counted out in this fight. By and large, people are going to side with Shakur in this fight to win the fight because he's the more consistent fighter, he's the more class fighter overall, and he's just so damn good. But Teofimo has a way, when you're so damn good and he knows you're so damn good and everybody feels like you're gonna beat him, there's just something about Teofimo, man. He brings out a different level and somehow supersedes that guy who is that damn good. I've seen it. We've seen it already. I'm not saying anything that anybody else hasn't already seen.
Paulie Malignaggi says this is one of those rare matchups where logic and instinct clash. On paper, the smart pick points to Shakur Stevenson because of his skill and potential to be one of the sport's dominant faces. But Malignaggi keeps coming back to Teofimo Lopez's raw talent and unpredictability, calling him the dangerous X-factor. He stresses that this is a legitimately elite fight, not a soft touch, and believes Lopez on his best night has the kind of ability that could hand Stevenson a loss despite Shakur being favored.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know who wins this fight. Because again, your better head says Shakur, but then you think about, man, Teofimo, again, what I just explained.
He's got the talent to
I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Shakur is extremely talented and could be the face of boxing as far as being that good and being that dominant, even though no matter how good you are. But this is one of the rare fights where you can get beat. And I don't ever want to hear any of you tank nut huggers that he fights one Uber driver after another. If Shakur Stevenson loses this fight, I don't ever want to hear any of you saying, oh, well, what about Shakur now? Tank this, tank that. Tank fights the guy that delivers my pizza. He fights the guys in the back that are doing the production. He fights the truck driver. I don't want to hear, because he would never have gone near Teofimo Lopez in his life. This fight is that damn good. Shakur is supposed to win, but Teofimo is the dangerous X factor that could be maybe the only guy who on his night is so damn good, he may be able to beat Shakur.
Andre Ward sees this matchup as razor close at the elite level. He believes the outcome comes down to fine details on fight night, execution, timing, conditioning, and who makes the better adjustments under pressure. With their styles so evenly matched at the top tier, Ward suggests even the smallest edge could decide who walks away with the win.
It's gonna be a good fight. Yeah, I respect them both because Teo knows it's gonna be a real fight. Shakur knows it's gonna be a real fight. And I look at Shakur like a fighter who has a blank canvas. He's got the IQ, he got the experience, and the athleticism, and the skill set where he can paint any type of picture he wants to on a blank canvas. When I look at Teofimo Lopez, he's almost that. He has a blank canvas, but he needs an outline on what to draw and what to paint inside the line. Now, every now and again, he'll go away from the outline that he has and he'll do something dope and you'll be like, oh, that was cool. That wasn't on the outline right there.
Meanwhile, Teofimo Lopez's explosiveness and power make him a genuine threat, but success depends on solving the puzzle Shakur Stevenson brings. Stevenson's elite defense and constant movement are central to his approach, allowing him to manage distance, disrupt rhythm, and limit clean opportunities. If Lopez can't cut the ring effectively and deal with that control, the fight starts unfolding on Stevenson's terms.
With that being said, then what is Teo got to do to win?
He has to get Shakur up. How would I say this? I don't want to just make it seem like come across as if Shakur is novice, but the times that Shakur is putting himself against the ropes, this is the time that Teofimo is going to have to depend on his explosiveness. He's going to have to depend on his offset lead right hands. He's going to have, but even doing that, everything with Teo comes off his front foot, his explosiveness, his speed, everything. So it's almost like whenever the times he gets Shakur up against the rope, he got to pick his shots well, but then after that, he have to be ready to defend, because with Shakur, the return is always coming. So he got to go into the offensive lane, but he have to go into it with good defense, which in my opinion, he really don't do that good when he's going into offense. He usually come in to an offense lane, like with his lead hand down, coming with head movement. But I just believe when he do get closer to Shakur, he's going to have to overload with work. He's going to have to really double up with one hand. He's going to have to use his feet, bust angles, things of that nature. So
Malik Scott highlights the clash of styles that make Stevenson versus Lopez so compelling. Stevenson uses distance control and a sharp jab to dictate the ring, disrupt Lopez's timing, and land precise shots. Lopez fights back with power and ring-cutting ability, forcing close-range exchanges where his explosiveness becomes most dangerous. This battle of technique versus aggression could be the key to who comes out on top.
The X factor for both in this fight.
The X factor for Shakur, to me, is distance, which he's very good at doing, with especially with his feet. Him and Usyk, they both are very good.
Probing with the jab too,
yes,
right?
Probing with the jab, keeping the distance, making short steps going back. They really don't overcommit. And with Teo, I think it's going to be. I think like in Teo last fights, I don't know the last time we've seen a Teo big knockout how we used to see, especially since he moved up in the weight class. But I think this is a fight where he should go back to depending on that, not just going so powerful, but he should just pick his shots. He should punch a lot where Shakur is going to be at and not where he's at.
Teofimo Lopez comes in with explosive power, size, and relentless pressure, capable of hurting anyone who stands in his way. But many analysts warn that fighters who constantly shift angles and disrupt timing give him problems. Shakur Stevenson excels at controlling distance, moving dynamically, and picking his spots with precision. By keeping Lopez on the move and forcing him to adjust repeatedly, Stevenson can frustrate him, limit his clean shots, and make it difficult for Lopez to impose his style in the ring.
I think Shakur Stevenson can win this on points, Spencer, but he's going to have to be at his very, very best. As we look at these images of the two men, this is the fight that ignites the American market this year. It's obviously got the backing of Turki Al Sheikh, Ring Magazine. The key for me is, can Shakur be big enough to withstand what Teo is going to bring physically as well as psychologically and technically in this fight?
Absolutely, and that's the fascination surrounding this fight. You look at this one and you say, Shakur Stevenson, if he can step up another weight division and become 4-weight world champion, this is his chance now to become that superstar, that all-time great. You know, not just a generational great, but an all-time great. And I've really believed that. Like I've always said, Shakur Stevenson for me will emerge as this great fighter, and I think this is his fight right now. I think that he wins this fight as well.
Devin Haney believes Teofimo Lopez has the tools to challenge Shakur Stevenson, but only if he stays active and aggressive from start to finish. Lopez's explosiveness and power are dangerous, yet his measured output in past fights allows a technical, mobile fighter like Stevenson to control the pace. To succeed, Lopez must keep pressing, increase his punch volume, and force engagements to disrupt Stevenson's spacing and prevent him from settling into the defensive rhythm that frustrates pressure fighters.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great fight for boxing. I'm excited to see that. Styles make fights. I think Shakur is just a more superior boxer. I think that Teo is athletic and he has skills, but I see Shakur winning.
Do you think Teo, to win a fight like that, would have to be a little bit more active? He seems like he likes to throw one punch at a time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he could be athletic, but I think he would just have to be, it would have to be a method to his madness for sure. I don't think athletic would just win.
Robert Garcia also shares his take on Stevenson versus Lopez and reveals his pick. While he acknowledges that Shakur Stevenson is the more technically skilled boxer, Garcia leans toward Teofimo Lopez. His reasoning isn't that Lopez is the better fighter overall, but that his mentality, heart, and warrior spirit could swing the fight. Garcia points to Lopez's confidence, toughness, and willingness to throw big punches under pressure as potential game changers. Ultimately, he says, this matchup will come down to who executes their plan and stays composed when it matters most.
Teofimo has had some great performances, great wins. Shakur is also a 3-division champion, going for his 4th. Unbelievable talent. It's a fight where we're going to see talent from both, but we also have to see heart. That who has that heart to become the man. I think that fight's going to be more about who's smarter, who plays the better cards, and who doesn't make mistakes. because it's gonna be one of those fights where we might not have too much action, but we're all gonna be standing up because we want to see who's gonna land and who's gonna be the one that finds those punches to land. It's a very interesting fight, and they're both in their prime. They're both, that's what boxing is about.
Bruce Carrington points to a key challenge for Teofimo Lopez, dealing with constant movement and disciplined spacing. While Lopez boasts explosive power and athleticism, he has struggled when opponents shift angles and avoid predictable positions. Stevenson's composure and tactical control could force Lopez to overcommit, miss shots, or grow frustrated. If Stevenson sets the pace and controls the ring, he can neutralize Lopez's power and make the fight unfold on his terms, rather than letting Lopez dictate the action.
I feel like Teo is going to bring the fight. He's very athletic. He has a lot of explosiveness, and but I do feel like when it comes to Shakur, bro, his movement may frustrate him. The only thing that worries me when it comes to Teofimo is his frustration. Like, is he going to be able to work well with a mover? We've seen, difficulties that he had with Sandor Martin. We've seen the difficulties that he had with Jimmy Ortiz, guys that's been moving around and not staying still. Like, if you keep Teo moving around and he can't plant his feet, what can he do? We're going to have to find that out on, January 31st. And I think Shakur, he's probably one of the best guys to, move his feet, be on defense, being hella patient and frustrating a fighter, bro. Like, so, I don't know. We've seen Teo get frustrated to the point where he's asking himself, do I still got it? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We got to see what his mentality is going to be like come January 31st.
Zaquin Moses praises Teofimo Lopez as a proven elite fighter, pointing to his win over Vasily Lomachenko as proof of his top-level talent and threat at 140 pounds. At the same time, he acknowledges Shakur Stevenson's ring control, composure, and ability to handle the best in the sport. While some may favor Stevenson, Moses believes Lopez's experience, skill set, and championship pedigree make this matchup highly competitive and far from one-sided.
Next weekend, Shakur and Teo. I see Shakur just beating Teo up. I see Shakur figuring Teo out. And I see Shakur just doing what he do.
What do you think of Teofimo Lopez?
I think Teo a great fighter. I don't really got no bad thing to say about Teo. I just know how Shakur coming. I seen him in there with a lot of great fighters. I seen how he controlled people. People be in their place where they in the ring with him. And I think Teo a great fighter. He accomplished a lot. He really, like, when he beat Lomachenko, he really was like, he was a top dog at the time. Everybody was looking at him as a top dog. So Teo's a great fighter, and I can't wait till next week to see how that fight goes.
Yeah, because
I know how it's gonna go, but I can't wait for everybody else to see.
Right now, the bookies have slightly favored Shakur, and to some people that's a surprise given that Teo is the champion.
Meanwhile, Timothy Bradley Jr. highlights footwork as the deciding factor in this matchup. While power and punches matter, he says the fight will ultimately hinge on who controls the ring, stays disciplined, and uses smart positioning to dictate the pace.
This fight right here is going to be about feet. That's what it's going to be about. And Tim, what do you mean by that? Feet. One thing you got to understand about boxing, right, is you can, punches got to be thrown. I get that, you understand that, but it's the feet. The feet is what gets you in position to be able to land those shots. Footwork is extremely important.
Timothy Bradley Jr. breaks down Teofimo Lopez's footwork, noting a distinct pattern in his movement. He points out that Lopez often plants his feet with a brief pause before firing power shots, using each step to control both his positioning and timing throughout the fight.
I look at Teo's footwork, and what I noticed about Teo's footwork in particular is that in order to be able to throw with the amount of power that he has, I've noticed with Teo, there's always a subtle pause before he actually explodes. And Teo's a guy that likes to explode into contact, like to explode into his opponents, man, to land his offense. Fast, twitchy type muscles, fibers, he's extremely fast.
The stage is set. Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson is almost here. Who do you think will come out on top when they finally clash in the ring? Drop your prediction in the comments below, and let's see which side the fans are on.